Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Hello. Welcome. Do you find I have a sexy voice today? Oh, this is just after 3.5 hours of silence that I've been practicing because I've been feeling like I will explain to you what's been going on. And so for my voice to be like this, thank you for receiving me as I am. Today's episode is all about being real with all the feels. And I'm kind of using myself as a case study because I'm going to open up my heart and share with you a little bit behind the scenes of what I've been experiencing, hence the voice. While I'm feeling like this, I still feel really good because this week one of my clients said, "You changed my life." So that energy and that up vibe just makes my week for sure. What I want to open the discussion on today is just really what is going on in the world. There's job losses, there's mental health breakdowns, there's relationship spats, there's health diagnoses, there's unhappiness, there's wars, plural. There are, well, let's just go straight to it too, abortion to be labeled criminal, and all of these different things that we are being real with that you and I, in different ways, have to deal with. We face that. They impact our lives in many different ways. In my clients' lives, I've been experiencing a lot of job losses and everything pretty much that I shared. And so I can't not talk about this because this is a moment where we get to reflect on what this is all really about. Is it a coincidence that it's all happening at the same time? Mm, my intention isn't to dwell on the low vibe that all of this can can open us to, and rather my intention is that we use all of this as a motivation, fortunately or unfortunately, to step up in our own lives, to tune in, to turn the gaze within. And as this show suggests, flex your soul connection muscle and be your own inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Now, whatever we are directly affected by in the list that I listed before, the reality is that we each individually experience our different reality. I'm going to say that again. The reality is that all of us individually experience a different reality, and each of our experiences are valid. Did you hear me? Your experience is valid. Okay. And so today I'm inviting you in an intimate conversation to do something about what you don't agree on so that things can change, not from an energy of this is wrong, but rather from an energy of what you stand for, of what you choose, of what energy you choose to align yourself with, of who you choose to be in this world. If we've never met, my name is Claudia-Sam. And as your soul connection coach, I support passionate leaders and guides who want to tap into their passions and start to lead their lives from a place of intuition. And so, using my tune in method, I help them, well, flex their soul connection muscle, but especially ditch the self care guilt, quit the go, get out of their head and into their hearts. So, if that is something that you're curious and that you want to know more about, just go to my website, claudiasamsoulcoaching.com. And there are a bunch of of resources for you. You can meditate with me for free on the Insight Timer app. You can download my free 3-step audio guide to put yourself first. There are many resources, and you could just reach out and click on contact and send me an email. Let me know what you what's the experience that you're having when you're listening to the Be Happy Now show. And whether this is your first time listening to the show or you've been listening since a few episodes, please rate the show. I would really love to hear from you, from your heart. If you can rate 5 stars and leave a review, then that helps more people to access their heart and to get out of the head so that we can just live in more harmony in the world. So thank you in advance. Now, I said I would share why my voice is like this. One of the reasons, or one of the things that I am most passionate about is being my cyclical human self, being my emotional self. And what that means is feeling all the feels, hence the title of this episode, being real with all the feels. And you might have heard me talk about the emotions archetype before, whether I'm going to repeat them quickly for your reference. What I like to see us humans being as, or how I like to see us humans interacting with emotions is in these 4 different ways. And there might be others. So please, I welcome, of course, other ways that you see yourself interacting with emotions. And this is just a suggestion. There are these types of people who might be volcanoes. You know, when we bubble up something inside, we push our emotions down, we don't feel them, then we explode in places where we don't feel safe, and everything comes out. Everything in our life triggers us, maybe from not doing the dishes or leaving a piece of clothing laying down somewhere, and that can trigger all these emotions to come out. Is that you? The other emotions archetype that I find a lot in my clients is the rock. Being a rock, meaning hiding underneath the shell, not expressing who you truly are, but wanting to. But maybe there's a bit of fear of expressing yourself, of fully standing in your power and living and being with those emotions. The other emotions archetype that I see a lot is the wave, the one that just keeps coming and hitting you. And it's almost like, wow, you can never really, well, keep the momentum because it always feels like there's a wave that's hitting you down. Is that you? And there's the other emotions archetype that I myself strive to embody, and that's the river. The river is this energy of flow, of, ooh, I get to be all of myself. I get to go up over rocks. I get to go down streams and I get to arrive in the ocean where there are waves, but there is a cyclical flow in this nature of being with our emotions when we look at the emotions archetype of the river. And so this is just an example of what I guide my clients in my soul connection coaching practice. And I do have a meditation on Insight Timer. It's called Successful Emotional Release. It's about 7 minutes, I think, and that can be a really great way to start whenever you want to feel your emotions. Let me take a sip of hot tea from my throat right now. Thank you. So, yesterday, had been, and for a few days now, and maybe weeks, maybe months, I feel like I have been building up this anger around the whole list I listed before. And if you're just tuning in, the list of what is really happening in the world that I just accumulated anger on is just the the way that people are losing their jobs, that relationships are ending because of discords and lack of communication, maybe because many people are still working from home. There's a lot of health diagnoses happening. There's a level of mental health that is happening, breakdowns and unhappiness. There's wars happening on the planet. These are big energies, and news things like the right for someone who has a uterus to get an abortion, um, i- that mi- which might be criminalized is they are all part of discussions that, even to get a COVID vaccine or not to get a COVID vaccine, the idea is not to place a taboo or to say this is right, this is wrong, I'm pro this, I'm against this. What I'm opening the discussion to, or is to is to allow yourself to step into your experience of all of this and to be real with all the feels. And so, my personal experience is that I've been feeling a lot of that anger bubble up. And I choose to not take action from a place of anger. I choose to not let my emotions of the wave in this case, or of the volcano in the case of the anger that the way I've expressed it yesterday, I'll share with you. I don't want to take action from that place because I know that that is not in service to anyone. And again, I want to reiterate that we are all individually experiencing different realities. What I see as my reality is my reality, and what you see as your reality is your reality. And all of our experiences are valid. Okay. So here's the thing. Yesterday, I felt that in my body. It started with a trigger. It started with a trigger of something that we could say is, quote unquote, stupid. Um, when I started feeling all the feels, now I said I would say everything, but it's a little, Claudia-Sam, breathe. I started feeling triggered by all of these in the news, and especially with my own menstruation journey. I experience pain when I'm bleeding. And in full transparency, today is day 3 of my cycle, which means it's the third day since the beginning of the bleed. And I'm actually using this language and speaking authentically and genuinely about this because there needs more conversation about this in the world. The bodies of people with uteruses is on a cyclical nature. Okay. There is a reality that is experienced that those without uteruses can't experience. And so I found myself, I'm working on in my personal development journey, being okay with my cycle, being okay with slower days, being okay with not working 40 hours a week and still knowing that I am productive. I am working on making my self care the main priority from where I find my alignment, from where I create, from where I receive insight and guidance, from where I guide my clients and come on here on the Be Happy Now show. The root of all of this, just before this show, I was in the bathtub with eye patches under my eyes because I got that as a gift and I thought, ooh, that's a treat. And for me, that is luxurious self care, especially at the beginning of my cycle, because it's important for me that I connect with my body and the water allows me to tune into the flow. And just before the bath, I was on my paddleboard on the lake at the end of my street. This is the life that I'm creating for myself, and I'm changing the narrative. I'm choosing to change my narrative. I'm choosing to change the reality I've lived in for so long. The reality that was for me, you need to push hard, you need to work more, you need to hide your emotions, you need to take medication to not show that you are on a cycle and that you have hormones guiding you through life. That was my reality, and now that I'm choosing to live differently, I find myself angry at the ignorance that I'm experiencing now or that I was in. I feel myself angry at the fact that I did not know that it was okay to go with the flow and to not work so hard and to not push as much and put so much pressure on myself to be as if not more successful, productive, kind, compassionate, and even more happy. And now that I'm tuning in more to my body and allowing myself to be in the flow, there's these parts of me that are scared, these old parts of me that are afraid to die. Yesterday, I was journaling on all, actually, it was this morning. I still didn't share how I got this voice. It's coming. This morning, I was journaling on all the things that I was angry at because it needed to come out in another way than how it came out yesterday. And I started journaling on all the things that I'm angry at. And then I stopped. And I'm sharing this so that you can also, if it feels in alignment with you, if it resonates with you, to take on this practice. This is my personal practice. And this is something also that I play with my clients. So, okay, I'll start from the beginning then, which was yesterday when I found myself feeling, and this is, I'm speaking the real words, okay? So if you don't want to hear about menstruation, then maybe this isn't for you. I was feeling the blood coming out of my body, and I felt angry, genuine anger. So, and the anger, even though I want to accept my femininity and accept the cyclical nature and accept that all the hormones that I get to live with, they're all beneficial. I felt myself angry. And in that moment, I was crying, and I was in the bathroom, I was crying, and I eventually just yelled. I was alone in my house, and I yelled so hard, so loud, that I strained my voice. And now I have these orange bumps growing inside my throat. I'm saying growing, but they growed. And now I'm choosing to envision light and love and openness and warmth. And I'm visualizing my throat coming back to its original state. From the moment, so you get to take this into your own life as well. Let me take a sip. Thank you. When you feel an emotion, live it, be with it, don't judge it. Last night, when I was with the anger, I allowed myself fully to express it. And the way that it came out was by yelling, not at someone else. I didn't hit anything. Did I break something? Maybe I broke my voice. In the moment, it had the energy of release, let go, relief. Come on, like get out of me. I see you, I'm with you. I need to express that. So my suggestion here, when you do feel an emotion, is to be fully with it, allow it to be there, and cry if you cry. I have some clients who say, I'm sorry if I'm crying. And to not take them out of the moment, I say nothing. And what I really want to say is, it's okay to cry. Sometimes I do say that. It's okay to cry because that allows the emotion to flow. It allows you to be the river. It allows the emotion to flow through you. It allows you to not let the emotion stay stuck like a volcano. And so, from the moment that I yelled and that I was with the anger, then I went to silence. I went to being, I went into a bath, and I distanced myself from my love, who I live with. I distanced myself with the interest of tuning into me and to fully honoring who I am, what I need in that moment, which was to be with that. Today, this morning, so the next day, I knew that the anger needed to come out in a different way, and I could feel my throat. So for me, it was a direct link. So let this be also kind of an example, me sharing my story, me being the case study here. When we feel emotions, they manifest physically. They do. Yes, I yelled. You could say it's just because you yelled. Could be. But I am also feeling this anger. And I know that, for example, if I look in Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life book, the throat probably says repressed anger or holding back words of anger. And that feels very much in alignment with me. So I decided to journal and just write, I am angry with, I am angry about. And I journaled until I felt like there was nothing more to say. This is where it's important to not time yourself, because if we put a limit on it, then we we're saying it's only working if it's in this time frame, or you really have to do it fast because otherwise healing won't happen. And that attaches us to the final result of healing, where our body and our emotions just need us to be with the emotion, and it needs us to be real with that part of us who's angry. The next thing that I did is that I closed my eyes after writing all of this anger out. I closed my eyes and I sat with the anger. And I went deep in the anger, in the sense that, what for me, the vision that came was that I imagined, I felt like I was in this pit, this deep vertical tunnel into the earth. And the anger was still there, that I could feel myself banging on the walls of the underground vertical tunnel that my subconscious had created for me. And then I went deeper. I wanted to see what part of me that was. And I saw exactly this. I saw myself in 2012, um, wearing my turquoise blouse with a mini skirt, black, turquoise, and blue, and a little bit of green, with turquoise heels and probably turquoise makeup, but I couldn't see it. And with my big curly hair, a lot of makeup and jewelry. And that version of me is that version of me that was hiding, that didn't know that she was empowered by her cyclical nature. That part of me is the one who put validity and value and my identity on my work. That part of me is the one that was just on the verge of a burnout. That part of me was the one that was in the moment not as happy because I was looking for another job. That part of me is the one that was at war within myself. That part of me wanted to birth her passions, but couldn't because she didn't know how. So, that to me is all linked to the list of what's really going on in the world right now. And so, when I had this vision, I quickly wanted to go see if my turquoise shoes were still in my drawers so that I could um, let them go. And thankfully, I had already let them go. So it was just kind of this part of me that was still present. So, to recap, the first part was really being with the anger, being with the emotion, whatever you're experiencing, however you are tying your experience to what's happening out in the world. You get to make it valid. You get to be with the emotions and express it in a safe way that allows you to feel good in the moment, that allows you to move the energy from stagnant to flowy, that allows you to move from the rock, the volcano, or the wave into the river in the emotions archetype. And the other thing, the next thing is to journal about it, write it or say it out loud, record a video of yourself, get it out in another way, be specific, and then tune into that emotion and see what part of you is angry, what part of you wants to resurface here. Because that part of you's, her experience, their experience, his experience is also valid. So here's the things, here are the words that I say to that part of me. I hear you. I see you. I'm holding you. And I love you. And what happened is that in the vision, instead of banging on the walls of this underground vertical tunnel, I was able to see that I was calming down. That part of me, that version of me was calming down. My arms were lowering. I felt calmer and more at peace. And then I just infused light into the situation. And I'm not making her wrong. I'm not making that part of me bad or regretful, but rather I'm stepping out and I'm infusing light, looking at the bigger picture of what this is all about, of what the universe wants for me, of what the universe wants for this situation. And it is for more calm and more peace from within. And today I feel much calmer, even though my voice is a little bit strained. I'm very proud of myself. And I hope that you get to use these tools to tune into yourself and to be real with all the feels. Because whatever is going outside in the world, it does affect us. And the way that we can actually do something about it is by first tuning in and being our own inner guide. Thank you for listening to the Be Happy Now show. This is where we get to flex our soul connection muscle and be our own inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. And if you want to find out where you are in the tune in method and you'd like to get on a quick 20-minute coffee chat with me, then I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to know maybe which emotions archetype you are. So go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/yes and let's chat. Thank you for receiving all of me. Thank you for being you. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Tune in live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.